you, Rita, and thank you for inviting me. It's such a privilege for me to have this forum to share about creating an employee experience based on purpose and leaderships. Because I'm presenting, therefore I can't see most of you. Whether you're on your video or not on your videos is fine with me. But please hold your questions till the end of the sessions, because whatever things that you are putting on the chat, I won't be able to see because I'm seeing my screens because I'm projecting my screen. So pardon me if I'm not responding to your questions immediately during your chat. But I promise that at the end of the sessions, I will minimize my screen and therefore I can see the chat and I'll address accordingly. So without further ado, we shall kick starts then. Thank you. Okay, so firstly, let me introduce you the topic, which what I've said earlier, employee experience. And of course, the key takeaway will be the leaderships, because the effective leadership will foster a positive employee experience. And these days, we're all using employee experience to anchor in the HR landscapes. And of course, with these two integrations, you'll see improvement in employee engagement, attractions, and employee talent retentions, also accelerating execution of business strategy to achieve greater success. And before I forgot about myself, of course, I'm Jeslie Woon. I'm the General Manager, which is the head of HR for People, Culture, and CSR, which is Corporate Social Responsibility for Fujifilm's Business Innovation Singapore. By the way, today what I'm sharing here is all the real-life case examples of how the integrations of experience, purpose, and leaderships in my organizations. So later on, you will see how I integrate all this into the company's purpose. All right, so let me start to take you through. Here, if you look at it, there's a three component: employee experience, purpose, and leaderships. So what is employee experience? I think if all of you may know, we are HR professionals here. So employee experience is essentially the whole employee life cycle, starting from the moment that you put up your ad, so which is where you attract your candidates, to they become your employee, you are onboarding them, you develop them, you reward them, motivates, and then during the whole process, you are engaging them and even down to the exit. So this is for the whole employee life cycles. Exit, be it the retirement or resignations. So the whole employee experience is about employee life's journey. So when I talk about employee life journeys here, you know, in today's context, why Starbucks are so successful, or why Starbucks can sell the same coffee that our coffee house or our kopitiam, you know, in Singapore are selling $1, but they are selling by $6. Essentially, they are selling experience. I think in today's world, if you can't differentiate yourself, you can only differentiate yourself through experience, because experience is where you can mark up your margin, and experience is where in the employer context is you will bring the more mouth of words. People will be happy. Your employer feel that, wow, I'm treated differently, and therefore he's spreading positive vibe to the rest of the people outside his network or inside his network. So employee experience is where we anchored upon in the employee life cycles. Okay. Then, what is purpose? Interestingly, Rita, before the session, she said that she's quite curious. What is the purpose? And I said that you will find out. You know, in Japanese, we call it ichigai. So I'm working for a Japanese company, which is Fujifilms. So ichigai is mean finding your purpose. And many of time, we are not sure how do we find the purpose? Firstly, you ask yourself, what do you like? What is something that you love about? Okay. I'm here to help you to find out your purpose in life. And what are you good at? You know, something that you love to do and something you're very good at. You know, people, it is very common that once you're good at something, you just like to do it. And because once you're good, you're improving. And once you love it, you put more times into it. And then the other part of it is, what's the world's need? Beyond yourself, what's the world is looking at? And then what you can be paid for. Isn't it interesting? Imagine what you like to do, what you're good at, and you can serve the society, and that's where you get paid. Isn't it interesting? Like most of the time, we work in a corporate world that we pay for what we are good at. But is it something that you like to do and love to do? This is something for you to find out. All right. Then, how do you get paid for? From the vocations, which is where is your competency and expertise that's built into your professions. Because of your capability, your job, that's where you get your salary. Am I right? Then, what you're good at. Well, good at is something that you're passionate about, you love to do. I think like what just now Rita had have interviewed me saying, oh, I thought that you were so passionate about your metaphysics. Is it something that you're going to pursue? So this is the passions that I found of myself. And mission. So what is my life mission? I think just now I also touched on a bit. I have 2 life missions that I need to fulfill. One which I just mentioned, the other one which I'm still unsure, that I need to find clarity. And with all this, if you group it together, passions and mission is essentially what you love. That's why you need to find out what is your passions and the missions. Then integrating to find out what you're good at, which is related to, because what you are proficient in and your passions about. And then what you can be paid for, you want your passion to get paid, right? That is your professions and your competencies. And lastly, what is the world's needs? Because most of the time, we want to do something for the greater goods of others, be it your family, the society, or even your staff. So what is good for others or the world? And in the middle, that's where you find your purpose. I hope this will give you a good concept of where and how you find your life purpose. So this is a concept of Ikigai. Next, leadership. I think this is the most easiest thing. Leadership is about leading the way, right? So as a HR professionals, we create employee experience, helping others to find the life purpose and also your own life purpose, and leading through the ways and advocate for leaders leads the way to the experience and life purpose. Okay, then before I get into how I'm integrating these 3 components into the real actions, I'm going to show you and pay attention to how my company is promoting our brand. So this is about 1 minute videos. Just to let you know, Fujifilms is not just doing film, which is the imaging, the first column that you're seeing from the left, sorry, from the right. Actually, we also have a business innovation, which is the print. We are the document management company and functions, material science, and healthcare. We are also having a healthcare, which provide AI intelligence like MRI to do pre-diagnostic interventions. So without further ado, I shall show you videos of my companies.
When the world was changing for photographic film, we took the opportunity to help change the world. We pioneered digital photography and instant cameras that preserve memories and enrich lives. But why stop there when there's so much more we can do? In healthcare, we're revolutionizing diagnostics by applying our AI and imaging technologies with the aim of enabling earlier detection of disease. But why stop there when we can also consider the health of the planet? Our data storage media solutions cut CO2 emissions by drastically reducing energy requirements of data centers. And when it comes to business innovation, we're applying our AI and IoT capabilities to help tackle some of the toughest challenges. By leveraging multifunction printers as service gateways, we're changing the way paper and electronic data are organized, analyzed, accessed, and secured, and revolutionizing the way work gets done. But why stop there? When it comes to innovating for a healthier world and a more sustainable society, we'll never stop. Fujifilm. Value from innovation.
All right. I hope that you have heard what the video has said. Purpose. This is blocking my view. How can I get rid of the blinder there? So the purpose of our companies. So as if you hear the video, so I say improve health and environment, those protections in society. So our overarching aim is to help enhance the quality of life of the peoples in the world. So this is our corporate philosophy. And as an HR professionals, we look at the opportunity to link this external, what's the world's needs into the purpose. So as an HR, this is our missions. Our missions in Fujifilm's business innovation is to maximize and unleash people's potential by engaging their 3H, which is their heart, head, and hand. Because we believe that our business grow when our people grow. So you see, when we say our emphasis is all about people. So when we emphasize on people, which is the leaderships, and in the leadership arenas, we are looking at engage, enable, empower, and energizing our people. So this is the 4E approach that's HR or myself is anchored upon while driving employee experience. Okay, next. So what's the expectations of the people in a different what's it called, the generations? Sorry, let me see. Did you I don't know how to get rid of this, is blocking my view. I'm sorry. Okay, so expectations of a different generations, like starting from baby boomer, Gen X, Gen Y, and Gen Z. So they have a different expectations of a leaders and how they want to be treated. At the end of the day, if I could summarize, according to Gallup, is leading with purpose that leads to a thriving workforce, because everyone has their personal agendas and different purpose. So by integrating and understand the purpose, like how it was stated here, because they, like for example, baby boomer is a culture of beacons. So that is their purpose. Or Gen X, they're looking for leaders which is a role models. Or Gen Y, they're looking for leaders that is able to connect with them. And Gen Z, they're looking for partnerships, relationships with their leaders. So teach instead of tell. So these are the different expectations of the next generations towards leaders, which mean leading by purpose. So at the end of the day, it's not about one size fits all, but it's about talent and understands their needs. Okay, so of course, what's the reasons to focus on purpose? So there's many good reasons out there, and according to Oxford's leader, driving employees with purpose is essentially will give a benefit of engagements, high level ethicals, and aligning people with the organizations. They feel that they're making a good choice and have a meaningful life and work, and able to cope with change and easier to see big picture, resolving resilience and having sense of directions during uncertainties times. So focusing on the purpose will bring these reasons of the why. And according to McKinsey, for companies that driven from purpose, it is the cultures that evolve from organizations and look into the work, engaging with making progress of the activities by providing energies and meaning up to the external, which is the purpose of work, by caring for families, volunteers, activities, and hobby. You see the linkage. At the end of the day, it's still about the purpose of life. And how in Fujifilm Business Innovations we did was, we know that leaders or the manager is the middle anchor and the anchor point between the organizations and the employees. So we leverage on leaders as the key resource for us to win employee hearts and mind. So that's why we turn manager into a purpose-driven leaders. So how do we do it? We use a 4P approach: setting priorities, what's the purpose of the employees, and introducing Ichigai, and focusing on people, then profit. Because if you focus on the purpose, the reason of why is important, and concern and give care to your people, empathy, and that's where the last thing is, the profit will come automatically. Okay, so let me take you through leaderships. You know, interestingly, I found these news articles from Straits Times just 1 year ago. And in the Straits Times newspaper, it says that there is a shift in leadership maturity continuums. So in the past, well, I'm the boss. He's my boss. You know, boss is a leader with a position of authority. And then it moved on to a leaders where we says, no, I'm not the boss, I'm the leaders. Or we're expecting a leaders, but not a managers. Manager is managing people. Leadership is uplifting people. So it have been shift. And interestingly, leaders is no longer leaders, it's a stewards leader. Stewards leader is a progressive, mature stage of leaderships that we envisage too. And if you look at the pointer here, the one that I highlighted is a collective for better futures. What is stewards leadership? Be the change that you want to see in the world. Okay. And next one, society at large, that everybody thrive together to maximize collective welfare. Steward's purpose, and then the purpose which is larger than oneself, and then better future for humanity at large. You see this? So the leadership in the past, boss is only me and my way, and this is how I'm going to do it, and this is my direction. Leaders, wow, we care for people, we care for our staff. It's just so micro. We are just looking at our own department. And the biggest of it is we are looking into the world. That's why Fujifilms, we transform our business. It's not just for the sake of profit, but for the purpose of the greatest society. We build a better tomorrow for the society. So it is a steward's leadership mindset that is driven. So that's why to shift from a leaders to a steward leaders is to build the greater part of the world. So essentially, the steward's leader is about what is the noble purpose, what is the greatest noble purpose, the passions, the meaning in our own jobs, and helping your team to find their purpose, passions, and what does it mean in their jobs, and improve. That will help you to experience an exponential financial result. And therefore, I must say that if you find the purpose in life, you should be able to improve your customers and people's life. Okay, so how do I embed the, embed the leaderships into the purpose? Okay, so this is an models that I would like to introduce. So purpose, leader, you could do an inspiring leader by become a role models to the your peoples, have a strong EQ, fostering an authentic connections, and delegate effectively and efficiently. So this is a models that you may want to adopt as the leaders, where I took it from Progress Youth Holdings about leaders, the difference between the mentor and coachings, like coach inspired, mentor lead by examples, and it's essentially is encompassing the whole inspiring people leadership's purposes. So this is the whole leadership's driving force to help the peoples or your employees. So next is to drive the sense of belonging, because when you have the sense of belonging, people like in many situations we always say an employee join an organization but leave a managers. You want to create a belonging that people really want to follow you, and besides that this is what you aspire to be. So create the belonging and giving them a sense of equality, and of course give them the sense of psychological safety, empower them, and have an open and create a line of sight. How about agility? So agility is essentially about unleash their potentials, So as a leader, we need to flex the styles, lead and support the change with personalized experience, and of course, advocate for leaderships, advocate for learning and development, helps our people to grow. Okay, now I've talked enough about the leadership. How do we embed? I'm going to show you this model in my organization, how we came up with a leaderships framework. So for us is we look at the key domains area that we expect the leaders to demonstrate and came up with a competency assessment. Using that with a 360 assessment, finding the skill gaps based on their manager's assessment. And with that, we look at the level, which is like level 1, 2, 3, and 5, which are the strengths and area. Find out what is the critical skill gaps. Then we come up with the leadership's effective indicator. So, and this is the models that we adopt, which is 70, 10, and 20. So firstly, of course, it's a step in and step out. You need to demonstrate it. And then we do a lot of coaching, sharing best practices. And the other 10% is a typical classrooms or online learning, the formal learning itself. Okay, next, I'm talking enough about the leaderships, right? I'm sure that you have some ideas about leadership qualities and how do we measure and how do we qualify. Now I go back to the employee life cycles. As a manager, what do I do and what do I need? And how does it relate to employee life cycles? So I give you a snapshot view of employee life cycles. Then you will understand how do we integrate the employee experience with the based on purpose and leaderships. So recruitment is where the candidates value what the candidates see. Wow, this organization, is it just all about profit, no fun, no engagement? They don't even care about employee well-being. So that's the values. What are we trying to position our value propositions? Then the onboarding, how do they feel when they onboard and join your organization? Let me share with you how do we bring the experience of our candidate. The moment that the candidate sign and accept the job, I'll send a thank you note to appreciate them. Then the moment that they join, the CEO will also send emails to welcome them. And even during COVID times, if we have to onboard them, I'll make sure that the HR business partner and the managers is available to engage the new hire. So this is a very important key element of engagement and experience. You want them to feel that, wow, even right before I join this company, every now and then I receive a lot of messages and push of information about the company, about the products, about anything, and they even ask about how am I feeling. So the kind of engagement is the experience of wow effect that's we want to drive. Then of course the performance enhancements will be a regular check-in, the coaching and mentoring. That's where we always advocate that all leaders in Fujifilm's business innovation is a coach. Then the opportunities of development, having a quality IDP, individual development plan, to help them to have an interventions of the growth opportunities. As a managers, in their benefits and wellness is to demonstrate empathy, care for your peoples. So be mindful, empathies and sympathies are different. Sympathy is just like you pity the person. Empathy is you putting yourself into their shoes. What if this happened to me? What would I be expecting? So let's manager feel how the employee is feeling. And rewards. I'm sorry. So rewards. And rewards is an appreciation of motivations. Interestingly, I had to share this exponential growth of appreciations that's my companies for the last few years. We have been joining AXA Award, which is Excellence Service Excellent Service Award. I don't remember the full name, but it's a Singapore Nationals Award. So it's a Singapore Nationals given award for like customer service or best services award. And in the past few years trend, we had a maximum of like 30 employees. And interestingly, with these models, the appreciations of employee has elevated and a lot of appreciations. And this year we managed to have 99 employees being nominated into AXA Award, which is Excellent Service Nationals Award. So can you imagine our company has close to 500 employees, but 99, which is 1/5 of the organizations, enter into this award. So this is how successful a recognitions and the power of managers to bring the recognitions into a national level. So next one is, of course, we want to identify talent and unleash their potentials, and including the culture, which is internal mobility. We encourage more internal mobility and succession planning. So this is how we're integrating employee experience by looking into all the anchor points, all the touch point of the employee life cycles, and guiding managers of what is their role to elevate the experience. So lastly, which is the offboarding. Offboarding is very important. Don't neglect offboarding. An unhappy exit employee will leave a bad impression of your Glassdoor. I remember that 3 years ago when I joined this Singapore operations, the Glassdoor rating was only 2.7. As of now, we have raised to 3.8. So this is how we have improved the employee experience and the exit experience. People join, they feel happy, and exit with high numbers of rejoiner. So even my CEO is a rejoiner, and we even track people who rejoin. We welcome them to leave, and we also have an open arms for them to come back. Okay, next, how do we integrate coaching into employee life cycle? Just like I mentioned about, we guide the managers, right, on the whole employee life cycle. How can they create a positive employee engagement? Okay, with that, you will see how do they even link it to the purpose. Okay, to unleash the purpose of life is to understand, to set a rationale of the direction. So where am I today? And what do I want to be? If you remember earlier, what am I good at? What is it? It's all about them. It's all about the employee. So setting a direction, where am I? What do I want to be? This is to the employees, so that the managers know what kind of questions to ask, because in the coaching is about asking them to find out the insight about the employees. So help them to see what's the success look like and why should I care? You remember the Ichigai, the purpose. So, and then execute it. And how can I get there? What are the resources that require? And in order to sustain it, then we make a progress, monitor and achieve the growth of the employees themselves. So essentially what we are using is a growth models, finding what is the goals, the reality of what happened, and what kind of options that you are given, and what are we going to do next, which is the moving forward. Okay. Now, how's the leaderships adopting the coachings or findings the purpose of the employees? I would say that through an active listening, because as a leader, we need to hear them with a compassionate heart. And I will give you 3 levels of hearing. I'm sure not going to detail. You can have my notes. You can have my PowerPoint later on. And managing emotionals, because managing emotional is the most effective and powerful tools. Because once you're compassionate enough, you can connect to their heart, and that's where they are able to reveal what they care for, what is in need for them, what is the most important to them. And you may also want to adopt a growth models to help them identify the goals, find out what is the reality, which is the real situation, and what the options and way forwards. So this is a growth model that my company currently is being using in the leadership's coaching. So these are the 3 basic principles of leaderships to unleash or find out the purpose of the employees, and how can we help them to achieve their goals. Okay, now coaching with purpose. This one I shall not give you a detail. You know, in some company or a very profit-driven organizations, they have a lot of mindset of all about my pocket, all about the monies to the bank. But if you change the focus from profit to purpose, yes, it takes over time. It takes sometimes to embrace or to change the words that you coach our people, but you get a same outcome. Because if you're just focusing on how many sales you're doing today, how much that you can bring in sales to me, and I hired you, how much profit look, this is like very materials conversation. We should drive it in the purpose-driven conversation. I'll give you some examples here, but I'm not going to go into detail. Like, you know, if you ask your employee, how can we make our process faster and cheaper? It's very profit and material sense. Why don't we change it to, how do we want our people to feel that the result of this meeting or communications? Make them feel that, oh, the way that we communicate is all about the benefit of everyone. Okay, instead of just about the outcome of profitability. Because if we ask the right questions, people will do it for someone that they care, that people will do it for someone that they love, and people will do it because, not because you want the money. It's because I need it for my families, because I need it. I want to do it for the society, you know, with a bigger purpose of it. That's why by asking the right question, you will get the same purpose and same outcome. Just not remember the 4P. I'll recap in case you think that, with asking the purpose, will I get the profit? That's what the stakeholder wants. Yes, because we are using emotional communication. We are not using tactical communication. Okay, I hope this will give you a bit of insight, and use the concept of engage, enable, and empower them. Therefore, they'll feel more energized. Because directed employee, you tell them do A, they do A. They don't feel empowered because this is what my boss asked me to do. But if they find out, they understand the purpose and how does it impact their life, they feel empowered, and at the end of the day, they'll feel more energized. With the energized, I'm sure you get the profit that you want. Okay, so I've said a lot of things. If you don't remember all the gist of the story that I said, I have summarized in one little page here. And I just want to deliver a keynote here. The greatest gift from our leaders is to have a sense of purpose. Okay, so which is at the heart for our people. So remember the 4P concept, setting the priority, which is the business strategies. What is the purpose? What's the purpose wants? Find out from the inside out of your people, and therefore the impact is from the business, which is the profit. So how do we integrate the employee experience into employee life journey? So employee life cycle is about attract, hire, onboard, engage, perform, develop, and depart, right? Depart, which is exit. So drive it with your ichigai, which is what is your vocation, which is your competencies. What is your profession? Excuse me. What are you passionate about, which is the employee? And what's the mission? With the ichigai, integrating into the employees' life cycles, creating a positive experience and impact their life through engage and performs and develops with the coaching of 4 E's. I hope you still remember the 4 E's, which is engage. You engage them, engage their hearts, enable them, providing them with necessary tools, empower them, make them feel that this is what they have created. They have the authority to do the work. And lastly, you energize them and make them feel really good that, wow, this is something I create, this is something I put in place. And at the end of the 4 E's, you will get your 4 P's. So this is a summary of how you integrate an employee experience based on purpose and leadership. All right, so that's the end of my sessions. I like to close my session with notes from Gogendon, which I find that this is a very powerful words. There's nothing more powerful than a humble person with a servant's heart and a warrior spirit who is driven by a bigger purpose. All right, thank you very much. If there's any question, I'll take the questions later, and I also posted here my LinkedIn if you're interested to connect with me. I'm more than happy to share if you have other questions that you might have missed today, or you can connect with me for any other purpose. So I even give you my personal emails here. And for you to know, this is my LinkedIn account, and I wanted to share that these structures of framework, I was awarded with a goal for best holistic leadership development strategies in 2021, which is last year. And we also won another awards, which is best leadership development strategies from employee human resource HR Excellence Award. So these are the two awards that we gotten last year's because of all these leadership programs that we put in place. This year we're also submitting a similar category, but not sure of the outcomes yet. I hope we are still in the running top threes for this award. But fortunately enough that for the last two leadership award, we won goals for this. So I must say that this is a well recognized by the judges from the different industry to perceive that this is a very robust process and the way that we're integrating employee experience into the leaderships. All right, thank you. So I shall end my sessions here with the Q&A. So okay. Okay, is there any questions? If I look at the questions here, oh, thank you, thank you, Rita. So, email is okay. What leadership training program you give? Okay, what are the leaders trainings program you give? Okay, very good questions. Initially, we don't provide leadership training. So what we did was myself and my MD, which is my CEO, we do a skip level coaching, which is N-2, which is directors. So we coach a group of directors every month. We come together in a group coaching. So embed coaching concept into them, get them to understand what is the difference between coaching, teaching, mentoring, and facilitations. So they understand the concept, and then guide them to apply the three key coaching methodology, which is listening. The other one is growth models and empathies. So we did that for first year, and it was quite well received. And on second year, what we did was we engaged third party to give them a formal training, 2-day intensive. We invited training providers to train all our managers. Oh, okay. Before I should also say that myself and CEO, we train the N-2, which is directors, and the director partner together with GM. They do a group coachings to all managers. So one group about 10 managers in a group. So this is how we build a coaching culture into the organization. So I hope I answer your questions. Yina Ling. Thank you. Okay, next questions from Su Yi Wong. May I know what inspired you to be an HR person? Oh, thank you. Inspired me. I would say that my first jobs that I was a bit not sure what am I good at, and apply for a cashier job. Can you imagine? Apply for a cashier job because my friend says, hey, let's be a cashier, they pay high. Also naive. Okay, let's apply for cashier job. So when the HR manager back then, when he do screening, he said, Jessie, your result is so good. Why would you want to be cashier? I said, good pay ma. Then he says, okay, but I can't pay you what the cashier is paying you. Would you want to be an personnel assistant? I was like, what is personnel? And then in my era, I don't know what is personnel. So I said, okay, now whatever you want to offer me a job, so I'll just take. So that's how I became an HR. And that is by accident. And over the years, when I became an HR, I realized that, wow, it can impact people's lives differently. And that is the interesting part of HR. So this is what my answer to you. I was blah go into HR, and then subsequently understand that wow, HR have a lot of empowerment and a lot of opportunity to elevate people and change people's life. And what's my passion is, I like to see people success. I like to see people groom into a leadership role that they become so successful. I have a few employees that used to report to me that now become a HR head or HR business, successful HR business partner or VP. So this is what I enjoy the most. I enjoy to see people's success. Okay, next question from Yuna Lee. How does HR play a role in leadership development? Okay. If you look at my earliest model, let me screen through my earliest model. This is a leadership development framework. For those HR out there have difficulties to do change management or convince your manager to invest in leadership development, you can use this model. You know why? Because once you do the leadership competency assessment, you will be able to find out what is the leadership gaps. From the leadership gap itself, you do a very propositions to tell your leaders, your senior leadership that say this is the gaps. This is where we need to elevate them. And this is where is your baseline. After all the investment in training, you do another round of 360 competency assessment and see where is the chart of the competencies has moved to. And that is your ROI. So I hope this can help you in selling business proposal to your leaders. So of course, HR play a very important role in leadership development because leaders is the important, remember just now I showed that organization, leader, and employee, because they are the middle part. They are the one who interpret positive and negative things to the employee. Do you realize that some of the departments is very toxic because what they share with the employee is very dangerous? We want to shift the mindset to be a positive and a driven